Hello,
Recording.
welcome back to the Augmentation of Man. I'm Renee Miller,
I'm Kent.
and we are going to spend the next couple of videos talking about some of the prophecies that we've been given, the predictions that we've been given.
Since 2007.
And today we're going to talk about earth changes in particular. So kind of go by themes, earth changes, changes for man, um, things that man is going to bring about, other changes that outside entities are going to bring about will come in other videos, or the next video, we should say. So today it's going to be about the earth changes and specific areas that those earth changes are going to occur, mostly around the United States.
Yeah, it seems like most of these earth changes are triggered by the changes of Earth itself, the shift, the movement of the Earth. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. Changes of things upon Earth will be triggered by the Earth magnetic field change where the Earth orbital change will happen.
Mhm. And so I think it's important to start with the fact that Earth is out of balance.
And we know that.
And natural things that put it out of balance, and within the whole galaxy, what we've been told by our mentors, the ancients, and then there's professors too. There's a whole plethora of different entities that you can communicate with, but our specific mentors and guides are called the ancients, and they're not ancient humans. These are ancient beings that were created at the beginning of time, and they're teachers and mentors of the Creator,
Yeah.
God the Creator.
For those that really want to know in the cosmos, it's not just Earth itself or the human kind, but it's those in the cosmos that really want to know.
That really want to
Want to know what's coming to their planet, not just Earth.
Yeah, so this is galactic wide, and it may be even throughout the universes. The changes are directly relevant to the amount that a specific sphere is out of balance. And the natural changes occur over great vast amounts of time. So you will have supernovas where the suns explode and they
Or the planet
compress into a pulsar. Or you have comets that collide into a sun and basically evaporate. You have new planets being formed.
or explosions on other planets in our galaxy.
Mhm.
So most of this we're going to give today is based here on Earth.
Mhm.
And
But part of that, just to set the stage for it, is that there needs to come a time where corrections are made, and these corrections are
to make things better.
guided by
Yeah.
these very high entities, these spiritual entities, on a very coordinated basis. There's ciphers of the Creator that actually calculate mathematically how things need to shift in space to rebalance things, and to what orbits need to change and how much, even, if it's very slight, those changes have to occur so that as orbits drift and matter changes within space, that you don't have planets colliding with each other.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty catastrophic. So we are at this period of time when these changes are being mandated. And so this transformation is not just Earth, but it goes out beyond Earth. And there's a section of the universe where we're going to be entering, or a section of the galaxy, I should say, we're going to be entering that's going to trigger a lot of these changes. And we've spoken of the crossover. This is a crossing over of the galactic meridian, and that is also triggering a lot of these changes.
Yeah. So it's not to frighten you because these changes happen periodically throughout we consider time, because there's no time in the cosmos. So as we talk about these things, we will talk about it happening in a maybe a particular frame of mind of time.
What we would
So
call time.
yeah, what we call time. So
Mhm.
it's reshaping the lands. Some lands will split, some lands will get smaller, some lands will get larger.
Some will
But
disappear
some
or
will disappear completely.
collapse under
Yeah.
the ocean
So
waters.
it's all about structural change of this universe and particularly of Earth itself.
Mhm.
So reshaping the continents of Earth. And well, we may see it in our lifetime, or we may see it be just the beginning.
It is starting now. A lot of the prophecies, the predictions that we were given have started to come true. So they told us there is no such thing as time. And the way you can wrap your mind around that is that our time is based on the rotation of the earth around the sun. So if you were on another planet, that rotation would be different. It would be longer or shorter, and the days are would be timed differently. So when we speak of time, it's only in Earth terms. It's only applicable to our rotation around the Earth.
Yeah, and so once the Earth is back in balance, which the Earth axis will shift, so the Earth changes will come about 2 degrees off of zero. It won't completely go back to zero.
The axis.
The axis of the Earth. So in order to rebalance, and this will bring in the orbital change, which will be actually closer to the sun in one end of the orbit and farther from the sun on the other end of the orbit. So it'll be heating, and more cooling.
The orbit will
Yeah,
be
it's not
more
so round.
elongated. So it'll be initially it'll be closer to the sun, and it'll cause a heating effect. So the Earth will become a lot hotter.
In any particular part of the year. And then as it orbits back, it'll get a lot cooler.
But also, you know, when you change an orbit from almost circular to more oval shaped, then your years will change,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And your seasons will
yes.
change. Everything
So-
will change.
Yeah.
And so this
And we have
will
to get used to that change.
yeah, and part of the landmass changes is getting Earth to rebalance, but also to line up for a new I don't know how to describe it, but they said for the new era, the next level of learning, the higher vibration,
Yeah.
and a new surface in which we will explore. And that will include as the orbit shifts, the ocean waters will shift to rebalance and stabilize the
And
orbit.
that's what stabilizes the Earth, the ocean waters.
Mhm.
Rebalancing, that'd be the weight of the water.
The shifting of the weight of the water.
Right. rebalance the earth
and stabilize it.
stabilize.
But
Yeah.
it'll take another couple hundred years before
Yeah.
Earth settles into this new orbit, and then we'll start seeing a little drift away from the sun and a cooling off effect. So initially, it's going to get very hot, and we were told like 140 degrees, very hot. That's going to change a lot
But
because that also affects our food
yeah,
supply.
but what we will acclimate to that heat.
Right, because with all these other changes that we're going to talk about, is that we're going to have a genetic change
It'll be
that will
more,
enable humanity to acclimate
yeah,
to that
it'll
kind
be
of
more
heat.
tropical, what we were told.
It'll be more tropical in that there's going to be more water over the surface of the earth. It's going to be hotter and it's going to be
And
humid.
the land masses will change. For instance, walking from Hawaii to Midway.
It will become one
Yeah, I mean
landmass.
one long, huge island.
Mhm.
So
And so
many things will happen.
we were also told recently, within the last month, that the electromagnetic pulse of the Earth is slowing down and it is getting ready for the reversal. And so I think it's of the Earth. Now, there's some confusion there because there's also interplanetary field poles.
Yeah, other planets
And
also have poles.
and well, between the planets, and that when that reversal happens, the interplanetary field poles reverse, then that signals the start of the next era.
Yeah, and these changes, these pole changes will trigger earthquakes because remember we're on the landmass. We're floating basically on the land. Okay, so as these changes happen, there'll be more earthquakes, which will create new land masses and take away old land masses and different things like this.
Because you have a
So,
colliding of
yeah,
plates that will push
so,
and create new mountains,
right,
and then you have separation of plates where things
things will
will
sink.
fall
Yeah.
and sink.
So we were told early, probably 2008 or so, that there's going to be a 6.2 earthquake at Mount Baker.
Around the area
Yeah,
of Mount
around that
Baker.
area of Mount Baker, which is in Washington State. And it will begin a chain reaction down the West Coast.
So it's going to cause other things to happen. We're assuming that it will start lining up a mega quake in San Francisco, and that mega quake will line up or trigger a mega quake in the Southern California, LA area.
Yeah.
So that 6.2 magnitude earthquake in the area of Mount Baker, we were told you have 30 days to get out of the West Coast. So if you choose to stay, you may want to download an app on your phone so that you can keep track of earthquakes, and
Yeah.
specifically 6.2. That was in three different communications. So that was reiterated three times. And so I take it at its face value.
Yeah. And Japan, not all of Japan, Tony, because it's an island chain, but Japan, main Japan, will part of that will sink.
We've been listening to a lot of the chatter on social media about this predicted earthquake for this month for Japan.
We got that in 2009, approximately.
Yeah, we had gotten our predictions about that time, 2009 or so, but recently there's a lot of chatter about a Japanese woman. I don't remember her name, but she's an artist and she's older now, but she accurately predicted even the date of the March 11th,
Fukushima.
2001
No, it was
earth
2011, the Fukushima.
2011, right? Fukushima earthquake and tsunami. And she's predicted another one for this month. And we want to say that the prophecies, the predictions that we have received also reflect a probably an earthquake for Japan because they describe Japan as sinking under the ocean.
So we also received back in 2008 or 9 much of the West Coast from about Vancouver on down to LA. I don't know if San Diego will be included in that, but down to near LA will be cast off into the ocean.
Yeah, that there would be a sloughing off of the West Coast into the ocean.
Along the waterway.
And I think my guess is that you have that Juan de Fuca fault line there, and that it is tied up right now. It's hung up.
It'll probably trigger the San Andreas.
And this Mount Baker earthquake may trigger the release of this Juan de Fuca, where it's normally you have a sliding of the plates, either this way or this way, and it's been hung up and not allowed to slide. And when that releases, it's going to create a massive earthquake and tsunami.
So,
and you saw that sloughing off into the ocean.
And I also got the Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico, whichever you want to call it, having a huge tsunami. Now, where that tsunami is going to come from, I'm not sure, but it's going to be as much as 9 stories, which is approximately 100 and something feet high. So it will inundate the Florida coastline,
Texas,
and Texas coastline,
and maybe even more along the Gulf.
Maybe more along the Gulf.
The tsunami you saw along the West Coast was massive. It was even bigger.
It was bigger than the one that hit the Gulf of Mexico. So with that, the Rio Grande, which I didn't understand how the Rio Grande is going to come in this, I don't think it's on the fault line. I could be totally wrong. But the Rio Grande will widen, separating that we now know the state of Mexico from the U.S.
Mm-hmm. There is a fault line that goes through San Antonio.
Yeah, well,
and up through the hill country. So there will be a triggering event, and maybe when all of this earth shifting occurs, whether it's a lot of it is synchronistic and all at the same time relatively, or if it is one triggering another and separated by a gap of time. It is supposed to separate the United States from Mexico.
And as the land masses shift, it's already happening in Africa, where Africa is beginning to split.
Yeah.
Okay, that's in recent news. But I also saw the Mississippi to widen by a factor of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it recedes, the farmlands will be created, will be extremely fertile.
There was also a prediction for a split in the continental divide.
The continental divide is very long.
It's long. We don't know where exactly. Yellowstone. You want to talk about Yellowstone?
Yeah, I got a couple of times. Yellowstone, it won't have one huge, massive eruption. There'll be several eruptions, but there'll be small eruptions, but it'll be several. eruptions in different areas of the Yellowstone. Like you say, Yellowstone caldera, or a large space between eruptions that could lead all the way into Idaho.
Now, I want to say that they did predict that there would be much more solar activity. And so a lot of
Yeah.
this is going to be fed by this increase in solar activity. So increase CMEs, coronal mass ejections, solar winds, that sort of thing is going to interact with the ionosphere and the electromagnetic field. And the way they described it is that as that becomes turbulent in the atmosphere, it interacts with Earth's iron core, which then subsequently becomes turbulent also.
Yeah.
And that friction from the turbulence is what is going to feed the increase in volcanic activity and earthquake
Which
activity.
we're already seeing
But it
the
starts with
beginning
the
of this.
sun.
Yeah. And I saw in a vision, well, in Colorado, I saw the sky to become red. I was looking down through this valley and I saw the valley, the sky in the valley above it turn red. And I heard it has now begun. So when that signals the red sky,
Mhm.
not just patches of red, but the red sky, then the shift will happen.
I
So,
think too that because our guides had said that it will start with volcanic activity and the earthquake activity will follow, although we've seen an uptick of both lately. Um, I can't help but think that the red sky is a result of the increase in volcanic
yeah,
activity or a massive eruption that causes the sky
yeah,
to
yeah,
become
we're
red,
trying to decipher what causes the sky to become red. So,
especially like at sunset
yeah,
or sunrise.
yeah, this and we've seen this happen very recently. Storms themselves have become very strong. We got that in 2010 or 2011. Storms become very strong, doing a lot of damage. So
I think as
with
you know,
storms, the water's going to be
as all these,
contaminated.
yeah, but I think the storms are a result of all these changes
Yeah,
that are occurring, and I think that even the solar activity may be amplifying the storms from all the extra energy in the atmosphere. And so, and as you said, the as these storms occur, as the shifting of the oceans occur, you can imagine that there are going to be some large corporations that produce chemicals, petrochemical plants. So you have the petroleum manufacturing, you
industry, and
have
yeah,
plastics, you have all these chemicals. A lot of those plants are right along the coastlines, particularly in southern Texas,
in Louisiana.
along the Texas Gulf Coast. There is almost a city of
So
petrochemical plants. And so if you have the ocean coming in and
it's gonna,
flooding that area, you're going to have a lot of pollution in the
yeah.
water.
So you got to know where to get clean water.
Yeah. Not only that, is that when you have that kind of flooding, it's going to inundate the septic plants,
The
uh,
system, yeah, the
the
city
septic
system,
systems. So you're going to have a lot of raw sewage in the
yeah,
water. So it's helpful to choose when you start considering this and where you need to move to be in, to get out of Earth's way, basically, is what we need to do. Move to a safer location.
yeah.
Choose a location that is higher, that you might have a well on, so that you can access clean water and it's not going to be as
Right.
contaminated.
So this, this change will cause the atmospheric gases of the Earth, which changes the genetic movement in humanity. So, because each planet is based on its own atmospheric gases,
So the
so
way it was
it's going to
described to
create new
us,
life forms.
yeah, so it's the gaseous atmosphere that creates the geometry of a planet. It's the bonds, the gaseous bonds, the percentage of gases, and what type of gases in that atmosphere that create that geometry, that create that vibration. And that is what influences how life forms are behaving on a particular planet, including how they behave genetically. So, in essence, when you change the gaseous atmosphere around a planet, you are changing the geometry and you are changing the vibration of that planet. And that is what is going to cause this, what they call a genetic consultation within our own bodies, where you have a stretching of the DNA and protein markers are placed on genetic rungs where they didn't exist prior. And that turns on those segments of the DNA.
Yeah, so early in 2000, about 2012 or 13, I got in meditation a lightning events will happen worldwide. And the atmospheric imbalance that man has caused or man has contributed to these lightning events, such as HARP, different radio frequencies, massive satellites, Earth orbit.
And
This is all,
satellite dust
yeah, this is
too.
all contributing to this. So I had gotten early on, about 2012, a meteor or a comet will graze, not hit the Earth, but will graze Earth's atmosphere, causing a lot of havoc.
So you can imagine if we had a meteor or a meteorite or a comet, something of that nature coming that close to Earth in low Earth
It would have to
orbit
be really big.
and taking out a bunch of satellites. That would be very disruptive to our society.
Yeah. So,
So, and that, how do you plan for that?
yeah. So I had gotten, there's going to be many fires all over the earth. And just recently, within the last couple of years, that has turned out to be true.
Mhm.
Many fires throughout the earth.
But you've seen even more in your
Yeah,
visions, right?
displacing of the ocean water, beginning what we call the purification process that the native people have brought down through their stories and legends of old by the wise men.
Mhm.
And I think we're beginning purification process is not going to happen overnight. Okay, it took many, many, many years to develop where we are now. So the purification process will continue, and we are in it. I think now, where
The very beginning.
right, the fires and the floods, all these things.
The way that it was described to us is that fire and water are used to purify. So first the fire and then the water comes. They also discussed a single-celled microorganism that was going to be used to clean up a lot of the pollution on the earth, and that would take a relatively short period of time. That would be like 6 months to a year to clean up. And I don't know if this is a single celled organism that's going to be introduced or if it already exists here on the
So
planet.
all this would disrupt the food supply, which we are beginning to see. So,
And
We
we'll
gotta
have to
adapt to
adapt
this change.
because my question was when Kent was in a trance or deep meditation and communicating, my question was, how do you grow plants? How do you grow food in 140-degree weather? That just is
But
doesn't exist. Um,
that doesn't stay 140 degrees year round.
yeah,
It's
we
only one
don't
part.
see that, the
Yeah.
minutia of what that entails. At one point, they said that plants would have to adapt to indoor luminescence, meaning that, we'd probably have to have
Some
our
some plant
growing of our crops
or
with plant
or some
lights.
of plants, not all the crops.
Yeah,
So
but we would have to use plant lights, and that may be around the time where all this volcanic
that's true.
activity is blocking the sun,
Yeah.
the particulate matter in the air blocking the
Yeah.
sun, and that the plants would need, we'd have to grow under plant lights.
Yeah. So
Um,
all that changes will take back.
and also, they did say that when it gets to be those very high temperatures, that we would have to adapt our diet where we would be basically eating these single-celled organisms. I don't know. Are we going to be eating algae? I don't know. But they said it would be a single-celled organism of
Yeah.
some sort. So get ready for that, all these people who love to eat their steaks, because that's another thing is that there's going to be, with these genetic changes, with all the changes in the gaseous atmosphere, the changing of the grid, the changing of the vibration, is that you're going to see that a lot of species will become extinct,
And some new species will be
introduced.
introduced.
Yeah. And so, will we have cows around in the future? I
I don't
don't
know.
know. But we're going to give you some ideas in how to bridge the gap with all this, with our food supply and water.
This balance has to happen. It has to balance with, we have to learn how to balance with nature and earth. The earth, it's going to do with it, with humans on this planet or not humans on this planet. The earth is going to rebalance
It
and
has
nature,
to,
it has to.
because
So,
Earth being out of balance affects the rest
yeah,
of our solar system, and then from there, the galaxy.
yeah.
So
So nothing,
everything has to be rebalanced, or everything
yeah,
gets out of
seems like
balance.
nothing is natural right now. And that's
That's
the
what they
problem.
told us, is that there would come a time where nothing would be natural because man has this incessant desire to control everything. And so, what has happened with that is that man has tampered with the vibrational background of all things natural.
Mhm.
So, even though what we're visualizing looks normal, then the vibrational background that makes the things what they are has been tampered with through our actions. And so, there's been a big focus on green and carbon, but we were told that we need some carbon. Everything that we have here on
Yeah,
Earth is
using
pretty much
carbon.
made up of carbon. Of course, you don't want to be breathing it, and you don't want all of the pollution that comes with it. So the chemicals, but we've gone far further with the tampering of the earth than what we even realize.
I was told more than once that this must, and I accentuate the word must happen, it must take place.
Mhm.
So with all this again, I reiterate, this is not to frighten you or anything else. It's to prepare you to work with nature, work with balancing your own life, which we know the human race is out of balance. Move away from the areas that you feel when you meditate, when you go out into the woods, you sit down, move away from the areas that you don't feel right about. Plan for an interruption in the food supply. In other words, create your own food supply. So there's
Even
an
if it's
interruption.
just
So
buying an
right.
extra this or that when you're out, just
So
get a little bit
yeah,
stocked up.
it's not going to last forever.
The
The food,
things that I have found to be most economical, and when you're talking about your food supply, especially if you don't have a whole lot of place to store things, at the minimum, get some dry beans because one, you can cook them and eat them. Two, you can plant them. You can harvest the bean sprouts and eat them within a few days.
yeah, native
And
people
then,
do that.
right, and they even make soup out of
And
it.
they don't even need sun. They put in the kivas. They plant those sprouts
Yeah,
in the kivas.
in sand
Yeah,
and water. And it just needs to be near a heat source.
yeah,
And then you can, if you let it grow, you regenerate your food supply through harvesting more beans. That is the simplest thing that you can do, besides, you know, seeds for longer term, to have a food supply for now, have a food supply for a few days from now, and you can just keep generating a new crop and then planting the seeds in order to regenerate more later.
and most important is learn how to garden, learn how to grow a particular type of food or plant that you can digest, that you can eat. Know where to keep to obtain a decent clean water. You're not going to get total clean water on the surface. Know where you can get water that you can decontaminate.
Having some Clorox on hand will
Yeah,
help because it's only
yeah,
like 6 drops of bleach, and make sure it's not scented bleach, to a gallon of water to sterilize it.
yeah. And so and you can boil water,
Hmm.
I mean, so there's many things that we can do to get along.
You know
Um,
what else is that there are YouTube videos on how to make your own um, shallow well, where you
yeah,
can just have those items on hand to be able to tap into a water supply and make your own well.
yeah.
If
So,
you're living in an area where you can do that.
right, learn how to grow the seeds, how to plant the seeds and grow the seeds, and more important, try herbs because the pharmacy industry will
Probably
collapse.
collapse
Yeah, it will collapse. So
eventually.
get resource books and learn how to make some herbs that will help you sustain this short. Actually, it's a short period.
There's a lot of
Mhm.
herbs that lower blood sugar. There's a lot of them. So, getting some good resource books for your particular medical problem would go a long way in that research, and having the books on hand in order to have your own medicinal medicine cabinet,
Yeah,
to be able to substitute pharmaceuticals when you need to for your particular
yeah.
medical problems.
And if you can help others within your community, so by getting, like Renee just talked about, resource books, somebody in your
Gardening
right
tools.
gardening. So try to help one another. And this is what it's all about:
Mhm.
uniting, becoming one as
Yeah.
humans.
And listening to one another. That was another lesson that we had gotten, or a message we had gotten recently, is that
Nobody listens to anybody
we need to
anymore.
listen to each other. And when we do that, we start to understand each other more and we become more
Yeah,
unified.
you're not going to become 100% agreeing with everybody in your community, but there's a lot of things you can agree on, and those are survival type things.
And the other thing too is that if you have the land or if you have the resources and the storage, you might want to stock up on more than what your immediate needs are so that you can help others, so that you can plan to give others food. Should that, I
Yeah,
should say when that time arrives, because we have had so many confirmations on the messages that and predictions that we've been given that we feel very strongly that yes, all of this is going to come to pass.
yeah. So as this happens, unite with each other. Know who is in your neighborhood. Don't expect you to go outside your town. Don't expect you to go outside your state. But communicate with those within your neighborhood. Come up with a plan if you can. Not the citywide plan, but a neighborhood plan that you can work together. And when this all passes, and it's not going to take a long time for this to happen, but when this all passes, there's going to be good things. The good things will come out of this.
Yes, especially the unity
Yes.
and
And the
it
native
coming
people,
back to God.
yeah, and the native people say the creator. Come back to follow the creator,
Mhm.
which will help bring the unity together.
And then, of course, with that, everything comes back into balance. The earth does, our connection with the earth and protecting her
Yeah,
and working with her instead of against
yeah.
her,
And many
trying to
things,
control her.
right, many things will begin over again, but there'll be some advances already that are still there
Mhm.
that we can touch on and continue to advance even farther. We're a young, very, very young society.
Race.
Okay, very, very young race. And there are races that are far more advanced than us. So we need to survive and work together in order to continue forward in this cosmos, that we can join those that are in this, like say, universe or cosmos and plan with these other races to become part
Of
of the neighborhood cosmos,
the
the
galaxy, our
galaxies.
neighborhood neighbors,
Yeah,
our
yeah. We are not
galactic
right.
neighbors.
Not meant to to continue just to get wiped out and non-exist. We are here to exist and work with others outside our own solar system.
Yeah, and they'll help pull humanity forward.
Yeah. So we're
Um,
looking forward to this.
yeah, they said that happiness will come back, that there will be a time where things are just miraculous.
Yeah.
The new technology coming forward, the medical advancements, all of that. So I think the most important thing to see here is that Earth is completely out of balance. Everything needs to come back into balance, and we as humans just need to step out of the way and let
Let
our Mother Earth do
let
what she
Earth
needs
heal
to do.
itself. Right. Get out
Yeah.
of the Earth's healing way. Not for Earth to heal you, but the Earth to heal herself to begin with.
And when Earth comes back into balance, then humanity will have to work to come back into balance. But she's got to create the field, the balanced field first. And all of that, all the various fields that exist are all being unified at
Yeah.
this moment. They're telling us it is all starting to take effect.
Yeah.
So
So
watch that. I'm wondering what. our world will look like as that unification of all the fields start to happen. What are we going to experience that we're going to look at and go, wow, that is just
Yeah.
really
Well,
cool?
not all humanity will come through this. There'll be
Mhm.
many, many, many who will not.
And they're just not ready.
They're not
So
ready.
we have to think of it in terms of who is ready to go into the next cycle, who are going to be able to understand the new learning, because this is what it's all about. This is a learning field. So we're going up a notch and we're going to a higher vibration. Vibration equates to understanding, levels of understanding. So we're going to the next grade level, and it's going to be really miraculous as far as what they have indicated. So thank you
So,
for joining us.
yeah, on this journey with
And
us.
we hope that, we've given you some ideas to contemplate. We don't want to create fear, but we want to give you the reality of the situation so that you can prepare and put yourself in a position where you are going to have the best outcome.
Yeah, you can be one of the survivors. As
And
we
not
be all
only
working together.
survive, but thrive,
Right,
right?
yeah. It's easy. It's easy once you understand it.
And once you're prepared, you don't worry.
Yeah.
So
So thank you for following us on this journey. And this is all up to you. It's not up to those around you. It's up to you to make this decision and begin the process of accepting what's going to happen and to prepare.
thank you for joining us. And as always, peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Take care.